2, 3. Analytics of the day.
Come on.
No,
you got to stay down.
Of the day.
Stay down. Of the day.
Of the day. Okay.
Of the day.
Analytics of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Analytics
of the day.
Bam.
All right, let's do it. Okay.
All right.
1, 2,
1, 2, 3.
Are we going?
It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Bam.
Okay. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Analytics of the day.
Yeah. Brought to you by nobody. Like absolutely nobody.
What's up, good people?
How y'all doing? You're watching Just Sports with Sam and J.
Just Sports with Jay and Sam.
Just Sports with Ham and Sam.
Just Sports with us. All right, let's talk.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Jared Sanders and my brother Sam Sanders, and you're watching Just Sports. It's been a while. I should have left you with a nice beat to step to. Anyway, the last time I recorded a video was after we played, I believe it was Ole Miss, right?
I think Mississippi State.
No. It was Ole Miss. We played Ole Miss. We beat Ole Miss.
Okay.
Really bad because we
corral.
right?
Corral.
Then I made the video about don't spiller the beans because their running back Isaiah Spiller was a really good running back.
And we were going up against Texas A&M.
Against Texas A&M.
Okay.
We spilled the beans. They beat us. Yeah, they beat us. But we came the next week, I believe, after that and beat Tennessee, and we finished the season 3-7. It wasn't so good of a season that season overall, but it gave us hope. The previous two seasons, 2018-19 and 19-20, we finished with a 4-20 record. We were 2-10 in both seasons. And then Sam Pittman came along, and the previous two seasons, we didn't even win an SEC game.
No wins in
Last year, because of COVID, unfortunately, we played all SEC games. So it was either we were going to not win anything or everything was going to be better than before. Like, it had no other chance but to just be better than Chad Morris. So he was a lot better. We won 3 SEC games, which we hadn't done in probably 3 years. I believe the last time we won was against Ole Miss in 2017.
Yeah.
So the fact that we was able to win three SEC games,
4 if you count the one that was stolen from Auburn,
and 5 if you count the one against LSU, and 6 if you count the one against Missouri.
But
because we had KJ Jefferson, the backup QB, who came in and we won with 47 seconds left. Then they came all the way down and kicked the field goal.
But the thing though, Jay, about last year. Even though we may have not gotten as many wins as we would have hoped, we saw so much more competitive spirit,
so much more effort.
Yeah, from our team than we had in the previous years, especially going back, like you said, under Chad Morris. There was sometimes when you didn't feel like you had a chance in the game.
Exactly.
Last year, there were several games where we were like, man, this team is actually good. They're building something, and that was an upgrade.
An upgrade to absolutely bottom zero. Like it was in the past decade, honestly, for Arkansas Razorback fans, it has not been good. I think the best season we had was an 8-win season. I think it was 2015, I believe, when we finished the season against the Kansas State Wildcats in the Liberty Bowl. That was Alex Collins last year. We won 8 games that year, and we were hoping that maybe the next year we can kind of improve, but a lot of things happened where it was just a tumble all the way down to 2-10, where we had the easiest Eastern SEC schedule going against Kentucky and Vanderbilt. You know, we should win those games if you're the Razorbacks, and then they rewarded us last year with Florida and Georgia. Thank you. But that gave us hope for this coming up season this year, 2021, where we had probably the same horrible schedule coming into the year.
Arkansas easily has one of the worst schedules in in the country, let alone the fact that we are playing in the SEC.
Absolutely.
Not only that, but the toughest division in the SEC.
Where we got to play Bama, LSU, Texas A&M,
Auburn,
Mississippi State,
Ole Miss, who putting up 600 yards a game against everybody.
Exactly.
They're all in our conference. But then not only that, but then this year, those tough teams we're facing on the road.
Exactly.
We got Georgia at home. We got Bama at home.
Ole Miss
LSU.
LSU. Like it's very tough. It's a very tough schedule. Then they just gonna add Georgia to it and say, and then we already had Texas on the schedule. So it's like, what do we do? What kind of hope? And that's why Arkansas Razorback came into the season unranked. Right? Yeah. We played our first game against Rice. It kind of started off a little rocky. I got to admit, in the first half, we were down, I believe it was 10-7. And then, after halftime, I'm like, all right, they're going to turn a new leaf. We didn't score.
Let me ask you this before you go more into that.
Okay.
Coming into the season, after that last game, you think back to the Missouri game where we talked about KJ Jefferson.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did so good. How did you feel coming into this year, knowing what you knew about the team in the offseason and in the camps and things like that? How did you feel we would do getting into that Rice game? Did you feel like, okay, we can win X amount of games coming into the season?
Like, coming into the season, I got to be honest with you, it was a little bit less than last season because KJ only had one real game where he was actually playing really good.
Okay.
The other games that he came in, they would just do a package or two, where he would just run the ball. Or against LSU, he started the year before, but that was true freshman KJ. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't red shirt sophomore KJ who we have now. So it was a little bit less than last year because we came into the season with Felipe Franks last year. So I'm like, hey, you know what? We can do something. We probably could do something. But after seeing that Mizzou game, I felt a little bit more hopeful for the coming up season. What really got me encouraged for the season was our recruiting class.
Okay.
We brought in a lot of really good talent on the offensive side of the ball with Rocket Sanders and AJ Green. Those are two running backs who I saw in high school. I'm like, man, they have the potential to make a difference immediately.
That's crazy because you really don't want to bank on freshmen, true redshirt freshmen coming in from high school. College is a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely.
But these guys, you're right. They're making an impact. And I didn't see that. early on. You told me about them, but I didn't expect this kind of.
They have two things. They have the build for an SEC running back, and then they have the speed for an SEC running back. And at true freshmen. So I can only imagine after being 2 or 3 more years in Sam Pittman's system, what they gonna look like as juniors and seniors,
that's right.
And it just gave me a lot of hope for the future. But honestly, the best part was the transfers. We got 3 defensive line transfers this offseason with Markel Utzi, Trey Williams, and John Ridgeway. Those 3 guys have been almost a godsend to our defense, who already had 3 really good linebackers and Morgan. I'm going blank.
Grant Morgan,
Bumper Pool, and Hayden Henry. So that those 3 defensive linemen adding to those linebackers just made Barry Odom's scheme of going of sending 3 and dropping 8 is just made it so much better.
Coach Pittman said it. I think it was at today's conference. He was just like, they really hit it out the park when it comes to the portal.
Absolutely.
And it's uncertain when you're doing stuff like that, making those types of moves for the team. But he said they feel like they really won.
Absolutely.
And I think we're seeing that.
Yep.
And Trey Williams was a nightmare for the team last week.
Yes,
but I'll let you get back to Rice.
So in the Rice game, like I said, we started off kind of rocky. We only scored 7 points in the first half. And Rice was able to score 10 points all in the second quarter because we didn't allow them to score at all in the first quarter because we had that run by KJ. It made everybody feel really good. But then the second quarter came and we wasn't able to do anything on offense. It was very stagnant.
Okay.
And Rice was able to score 10 straight points going into half. They came out at halftime. Arkansas received the ball. We wasn't able to score. They had a 3-and-out, and then Rice got the ball back, and we missed the play in the receiving end, and they was able to score and go up 17-7. I'm like, wow, what is happening? Is Chad Morris over there calling plays? Here we go again. I should have put that on the t-shirt. Like, here we go again. You should see on Twitter the reactions from the fans. Like, man, is this what's happening again? But no, KJ Jefferson, Kendall Briles, they said, nah, not this time. Coach Sam Pittman said, nope, we ain't the same team as before. They came back immediately and had the drive of the day, went straight down the field, scored a touchdown. We got to stop on the defensive end. They came back down and scored a touchdown and ended up winning the game 38-17. They didn't score at all after that touchdown. Rice didn't score at all after that touchdown early on in the third quarter. So the defense said, hey, we're not going to play that. We're going to put the Clems down. So that was a really good win there. And then it was the game that everybody was looking forward to against the Texans. Texas Longhorns, not the Texans. Longhorns. Texas. We put them down, hook them. Texas. Saw them up. Ain't that what they say? So, Texas. Going into that Texas game.
You're talking about, now I get it. You're talking about West Arkansas.
West Arkansas.
You're talking about West Arkansas. Play West Arkansas.
So, Sam, tell me, what was you thinking going into this Texas game against a 15th ranked Texas Longhorns at the time?
Yeah, man. So, we got going into Texas game. First of all, Texas and Arkansas, everybody knows they have history from the Southwest Conference, being there together in those battles.
You just don't like Texas,
You just don't like Texas. Mm-hmm. And so that's already how we felt when we saw them on the schedule. As we got close to game week and I saw the struggles with Rice, I'm getting concerned. Like, all right, I know we have talented guys on our team, but I don't know if they're ready yet for a stage like this with a big team like Texas. And going into that game, everybody's talking about Texas's offensive line and their running back.
Exactly.
They're thinking about, this guy's the best in the nation, one of the top 5 running backs, early Doak Walker candidate, to be looking out for, and all of that stuff. So I'm like, how's Arkansas going to stack up against this team? And
then they were talking about how KJ can only run. They're like, he can only run the ball. He can't throw the ball. They forgot that he threw the ball like crazy against Mizzou, but that's neither here nor there. But they forgot that KJ got an arm. And in this Texas game, he showed off that arm good enough to give us the W. But the most important part and most part of the game that stood out to me and Sam as well was that running game.
Oh,
we had 4 running backs.
Oh, yeah.
That was able to score a touchdown against the Texas Longhorns. It was a whooping.
When I saw early on in the game, the way the O-line was getting pushed, was getting a good push against the defensive front of Texas, I was like, oh, it's going to be a long day for them.
A long day.
Like, I hope they brought their lunch because it got really quick. And for 60 minutes, Arkansas literally took them boys to the woodshed.
They brought their lunch and Arkansas ate it. That's exactly what happened. Them Hogs was
hog slop. It was hog slop out there. We eating hog slop.
And it was such a good game, such a good feeling game that it made us feel like, hey, we're here. It was a statement game. We are for real. We are here. It was so good that, hey, the fans couldn't stay off the field.
Oh, no, man.
The fans couldn't stay off the field.
You knew in that fourth quarter when we were walking down the field, getting ready for this thing to be over, you can feel it. Like, they're going to storm this doggone field.
It was a buzz everywhere.
I saw a video of Hunter Yurachek talking to the officer, saying, hey, we know they're going to storm the field.
You can't hold them back.
They're going to take the poles down, let them have it, we'll replace it. Like,
exactly.
It's happening, man.
Like, we are here in Tampa, Florida, and we felt the buzz.
That's so crazy.
We felt the buzz all the way here in Florida. So you can only imagine what the buzz was there in the actual stadium. So after that Texas game, it was really a setup trap game for Arkansas that typically, if we was the coaching staff before, we probably would have flopped that game. It was against Georgia Southern. We had a home game. because the team could have easily been too high from the previous game against Texas, or could be excited about the potential game against Texas A&M in the following week. So this Georgia Southern game was smack dab in the middle of the two Southwest rivals Southwest Conference rivals. Like, how did you feel about that Georgia Southern game and how we went out there and we took care of business?
You used to just automatically know, right, when you see a team like Georgia Southern on Arkansas' schedule, okay, that's cupcake.
Yeah.
Right, that game's over. We can count that one.
Exactly.
Right, but
save me some ice.
Exactly. This is a wrap. We're gonna take care of them. We're probably gonna win by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Pat our stats.
That's the way it used to be.
The way it used to be. But over the last few seasons, you're kind of like, sheesh. Are we going to get beat by Western Kentucky?
Or are we going to get beat by San Jose State?
San Jose State?
Are we going to get punked by North Texas?
Or Toledo or somebody?
Exactly.
These random teams, man, that just been beating us. So, but going into this game, I felt really good because of what I've seen from the Texas game. I felt like, man, this is not a fluke. It's not just that fact that we won.
Yeah.
It's more how Arkansas won.
Absolutely.
The defense was dominant in those games.
And the offense was even more dominant.
The offense just imposed their will.
Exactly.
They were racking up rushing yards. And if you have a good rushing game, that typically travels. You can do that anywhere. You may not catch as many passes game to game, but normally if you have a good Russian attack, you can pretty much do that.
Having a good Russian attack and having a good special teams, those are things that can travel. Like, there's not a lot too much pressure on a kicker. And Cam Little has been kicking.
He living up.
He got SEC Special Teams Player of the Week after the Texas game because I think he scored 4 field goals. So he did his part. He put in all the work that he needed to do. So after the Georgia game, beating them 45-10. Now we come
Georgia
up
Southern.
Georgia Southern. I'm sorry, Georgia Southern game. We beat them 45-10.
Are you being prophetic?
I'm hoping. I hope we put the smack
them dogs. Hey, we coming.
On them dogs
we coming
this Saturday.
Yeah, we on the way.
But I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
All right.
Texas A&M, the team that we lost 9 straight years.
Jeez, talk about
9 straight years. I want to make sure I got the right amount of fingers because it was too much. 9 straight too much. 9 straight years.
And you know what's the worst part about that though? It's like,
tell me, Sam.
Everybody talking about the 9 years, and yes, we did, and it's terrible. It's embarrassing. We lost 9 years to A&M, and the fact that it's ever since they joined the SEC, we've been losing. But how many years before they joined the SEC did we smack them boys around like over and over and over again? And so it just sucked to see a team that we've been beating all these years. Now they done came back and ran. And now we both have a 9-year winning streak.
Exactly. But thankfully, Arkansas still holds the overall record.
Oh, for sure.
We always keep that. You know what I'm saying?
We the big brothers to West
Arkansas.
The real Arkansas.
The real Arkansas is super wide and super long. So against Texas A&M, we came in going against. No. We're good. All right. Against Texas A&M, we're going against the number 7 team in the nation.
Yeah.
The odds are against us. We are on prime time, 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Eastern Time.
It's big. You got
CBS.
Yeah,
we got Brad Nesler on the call. We got it was
Gary Danielson
on the call. Deal. This is the real deal. Like we got all of that. Like it was yes. Like the bass was rumbling. They had the mics on the student section. It was all in. This is the big game.
Yeah.
All the people are watching this game because there's only 2 top 25 ranked matchups last week.
Yeah.
One was Notre Dame versus Wisconsin, which Notre Dame put the licking on Wisconsin, and then it was Arkansas versus Texas A&M. for the Southwest Conference Classic.
Yeah.
And the odds are against us. Nobody really picked Arkansas to win this game.
I think the spread was 6.5 or 5.5, something
exactly.
like that.
They knew that it was going to be close because Arkansas was better, but not just because of that. Every year, this is a close game.
Yeah.
Every year, this is a close game. So when the final buzzer rang, Arkansas was up 20-10.
Well,
what happened in that game to produce that score?
Well, quite frankly, Arkansas didn't take advantage of some of the opportunity that we had.
Yeah.
To make it more like
so
40,
what you saying? It could have been worse.
It could have been. This game was much worse for Texas A&M than the score would have you to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Grant Morgan talked about after the game. The touchdown from Spiller, give him credit for doing what he's supposed to do, but it was really a mistake on the defense. Let him bust open for a 65-yard
Absolutely.
rush. Other than that, they scored 3 points.
Yep.
Other than one fluke play, I think he said it like out of 60 plays, we whooped their ass 59 of them.
Exactly.
Exactly. We beat them up for most of the game. And here's the thing that stood out to me. I kept hearing this is the best defense in the SEC. If not the best, it's one of the best. Especially their front four on defense. That defensive line is one of the best you'll see all year. And when we played them, the first drive of the game, we started out the game with Traylon Smith rushing for 15 yards.
Exactly.
Right on the left. And then he came back after that and rushed for 15 more on the right. They called it back. They said, okay, we'll do it again. Rush for 12.
Yep. with the block from the QB.
With the block from the QB. So I was like, well, this defense, I hope they brought their lunch.
Then KJ said, hey, you know what? Let me show him what this arm can do.
Let me get some of this.
Let me show him what this arm can do.
KJ said, y'all coming in and stop the rush, I'm going to throw it right over the top.
Traylon Burks looked at Kendall Browse and like, you see this? They single coverage.
Literally, that's what happened.
They got me one-on-one. So KJ and Kendall looked at each other like, yeah, bet. Let's do it. Right. And it was 85 yards to the house.
To be the best defense in the SEC or one of the top defenses in the league, how do you leave the best receiver in the league in the SEC one-on-one with anybody? I would not put one-on-one Traylon Burks. I'm taking Traylon every time.
Every time.
If I got to bet him versus any receiver, corner, DB in the SEC, I'm taking Traylon one-on-one. He's just big, strong, and he's fast. Yeah. And he's so smart. The man's hands are huge.
He stumbled and still outran the like he was tripping and still outran this guy. You know how fast you got to be to stumble and still go past the DB?
It was insane, man.
It was crazy.
But KJ dropped that thing in the bread basket. It was like it came right over. Whoosh. He could just keep running and going.
You couldn't do
to
nothing
the house.
about it. Can't do nothing.
How about the deep pass to AJ Green?
AJ Green. It was a wheel route. It was that running wingo wheel route to AJ Green, and the defender couldn't do nothing about it. So he said, "Let me help you into the end zone. Let me give you a little push.
If you can't stop him, you might as well join.
Exactly. Come on, get on in there.
Let me help you out. Here, have a hand. Get by with a little help from my friend.
Take my hand. Be my friend. You know. So Arkansas wins, beats the number 17.
AJ turned on the Jets, boy. That man's so fast. It don't make sense.
They beat them 20-10. So they went from unranked against Rice, unranked against Texas. Right. After beating Texas, they were ranked, I believe, the number 18 team in the country.
Okay.
After beating Georgia Southern, they went from 18 to 16.
Yep.
And then beating number 7 Texas A&M, they went from number 16 to number 8 in the country. They're in the top 10 for the first time since 2012. How about them Hogs? Yes, sir.
Turn on that down, Juba.
Yes. hey, Sam Pittman, like he can literally be governor of Arkansas right now.
They love him right now.
They love him right now.
We love him.
We love him. Everybody loves him. So that was the first 4 games. We're 4-0 for the first time since 2003, man.
Yeah.
4-0 for the first time since 2003. So now we're going to kind of preview what we expect to happen in the next 4 games. These next 4 games don't get any easier, Sam.
No.
We got Georgia, number 2 Georgia,
tough, man.
this Saturday in Athens. College game day.
Between the hedges.
Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit. They're going to be calling the game. Then we go on the road again to Ole Miss.
Yep.
That some people call them
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Ole Miss. Well, they could be the Land Sharks, the Black Bears, the Rebels, whatever they are. We're
Baby
going against
Bells, we don't know.
the Corrales. You know, we're going against Ole Miss on the road. They're ranked at this time number 12, and they're going against
They got a big game. They got a big game this week.
So those two games are the two biggest games in the country right now. Bama number 1 versus number 12 Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Arkansas number 2. Georgia number 2 versus Arkansas number 8. So those are two big games. Next week we play Ole Miss. Then we come back home and play Auburn, and then we go to Little Rock to play UAPB.
Yeah.
So that's 4 games. Right now we're 4-0. After the next 4 games, Sam, tell me, what do you think Arkansas is going to be after the next 4 games? Okay.
Well, I will get on that for sure. But there's another big game, Iowa, number 5. They're playing Maryland this weekend, and Maryland's undefeated.
Oh wow!
Nobody's really talking about them much.
They got Tua Tagovailoa's brother.
They got the brother
as the quarterback.
And they are undefeated, and so it's going to be another 4-0 against 4-0 matchup. Yeah. There could be a lot of shakeups in the top 10.
Exactly.
This coming week.
Never say never.
But I think honestly, I'll be honest with you. I'm a Razorback fan. I love the Hogs through and through.
Absolutely.
Before the Texas game, I picked Georgia to win this game. I looked at the schedule and I said, okay, I don't expect us to beat the number 2 team in the nation because we're rebuilding. We're not there yet. So I figured we could beat Ole Miss, we could beat Auburn, and we could beat UAPB. But now, after seeing what I saw from Texas,
hold on, Sam.
Texas A&M.
Are you about to say what I think you're about to say?
I'm not gonna say nothing right now. I'm just saying that's what I thought ahead of time.
What do you? Go. No. Tell me, what do you think is about to happen in the next 4? We're 4-0.
Talk about this weekend right now.
We got to play 4 more games.
Are you talking about Georgia?
I want to know what you
talking about these dogs?
Is going to happen in the next 4 weeks. In the next 4 weeks, what is our record going to be in the next 4 weeks?
Look.
So let's say together UAPB. That should be a dub. This ain't Chad Morris.
They ain't the old Hogs.
This ain't Chad Morris. We should
take care of UAPB.
Now
sorry. We will lose the Battle of the Bands.
Well, yeah.
UAPB band is coming, and they're going to be at the game. They're going to show out at halftime. Sorry, Arkansas Razorback band, Mighty Marchers of the Razor Hogs.
Yes.
You're not going to compete with
my
UAPB.
My lovely wife is a UAPB alumnus, and she's probably going to be mad at me for this, but Arkansas Razorbacks are going to beat the Golden Lions of UAPB, in Little Rock.
We still love you, UAPB.
We still love you, wife. So that's 1. So we got Georgia, at Ole Miss, and versus Auburn back home in Fayetteville.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I know that Georgia's going to be tough. I respect them as the number 2 team in the country, and not sleeping on Kirby Smart and what that defense and offense can do. However, I just honestly believe Arkansas has been much better tested to this point in the season than what Georgia has seen.
Are you saying Texas and Texas A&M are better than Clemson and
South Carolina? Absolutely. As I look down Georgia's schedule so far, I just feel like, first of all, Clemson, they didn't score a touchdown against Clemson.
They didn't.
They didn't reach the end zone.
Offensive touchdown.
Offensive touchdown. Thank you. They did not score an offensive touchdown against Clemson. Clemson held them to 3 points. Helped their offense to 3 points. NC State came in to Clemson and whooped them up. Scored like 28, almost 30 points on them.
Absolutely.
You telling me the NC State's offense is better than Georgia's? Well, it looked like it based off of the results of the game. So I'm not saying Georgia's not good. I just don't think they've been tested to the point that Arkansas is going to test them. And I think Arkansas is going to stand up and win this game by at least a touchdown.
Wow.
Yeah.
So right now we're 1 with Georgia. We're 1 with UAPB. So right now you got to win 2 wins. What about at Ole Miss? That could be a setup.
That's true.
Ole Miss has really done a really good job this season, and they're going against Bama, who against Florida didn't look like the best defense in the country.
That's true.
So you got one of the best offenses going against what might be a down year. You hate to say it, right? You hate to say it. It can't be a down year in defensive for Bama. But if it was a year that they don't look like the mighty Goliath. This year, that Florida game,
Florida made Bama look really suspect.
Exactly.
Defensively.
And you know, the lane train. The lane train gonna go in there and put up numbers.
That's
see
what they do.
They gonna see exactly. They don't have no defense. There's not gonna be any defense from Ole Miss.
No. They will score after wazoo. Mm-hmm. They put up 600 yards of offense last year. Mm-hmm. I believe this year will be much of the same.
Yeah.
It's going to be a shootout in Tuscaloosa. And just seeing
what happens.
So just like my opinion of Georgia and Arkansas has changed since early in the season, my opinion of Ole Miss, I thought Ole Miss may be a game that we can just take care of pretty handily like we did last year.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at that game a little closer, like this team can really ball. And
our defense will have to definitely stand up that week. And honestly, so will our offense. Yeah. If it's going to be a shootout, if we can't stop Ole Miss, we're going to have to try to outscore them, which is going to be hard to do.
That's going to be hard to do, to outscore them. So here we go. Looking at these next 4 games, I just feel like I'd be too much of a homer to say we go 4-0.
Okay.
I think that's kind of unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
I do strongly think that we can beat Georgia. I think we're good enough to beat Georgia. My question mark is Ole Miss.
Okay.
I think we'll beat Auburn. Auburn has not impressed me this year
at all.
I'm not impressed by what they did at Penn State.
We just got to do better.
I'm not impressed about what they did at Georgia State. Yeah, my goodness, you came back in the last minute to beat Georgia State. I'm just not impressed with Auburn. I think we'll beat Auburn. I think we'll beat UAPB. Ole Miss is going to be the question mark. So I say 3-1, maybe 3-1 out of these 4 games. And I think that's still a great.
That's still a great
success
at that
for Arkansas.
point, we will be 7-1.
Yeah, that's
we're already bowl eligible.
Insane.
We're 7-1. Our only loss is to Ole Miss on the road, a good top 15 team right now. So that wouldn't be a bad loss, honestly.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a bad loss.
And hear me clearly, I'm not counting Arkansas out of that game.
Yeah.
I just think going 4-0 over that stretch
is going to be tough.
It's tough. That's daunting for any team in the nation. And I feel like we would lose maybe one of those games, and it probably would be the Ole Miss game.
And I agree that it's going to be daunting. And if I was to pick a loss, I would think it would be Georgia this week, honestly.
Okay.
Versus Ole Miss.
I can see.
However, I'm going to go with 4-0. I'm going to go with 4-0.
That's a bold prediction.
Not because of our offense, not because of anything that Georgia and Ole Miss and Auburn can do. It's our defense. I honestly think, in my heart of hearts, that we have the best defense in the country.
Wow. In the country?
In the country.
Jeez.
Because, not necessarily only because of the players, because of that defensive mind, Barry Odom.
That's real.
Who, no matter who the opponent is, he has an answer for them.
He's a game plan mastermind.
As long as our defense has depth, there's it's hard to see this defense being beat those 4 games. Did we even mention our analytics of the day?
Oh,
analytics
of the
come on.
Analytics of the day.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. Boom. Analytics of the day.
Sponsored by nobody.
Nobody.
Arkansas Razorbacks defense has given up 0 points in the first quarter of every game this season. 4 games,
outscored our points, what, 34
to 0.
Yeah.
Our offense has did their part. The defense has did their part. So that says that we get off to a really good start against every team. And if we have a lead going into the second quarter or in the second half, I depend upon our defense to hold that lead. Last week, what we didn't mention, KJ Jefferson got hurt at the beginning of the second half and had to miss about 3 or 4 different offensive possessions.
Yeah.
But I wasn't worried that much. I wasn't worried that much because our defense said, hey, it's our game now. Yeah. It's our game to lose, and they didn't lose it. They didn't lose it. They held the game close and did exactly what they needed to do for us to win.
I love the way these guys fly to the ball,
Fly to the ball. They see ball, you get ball.
They fly into that ball, and they're wrapping up with these tackles. it's just so much different than what we have become accustomed to.
Absolutely.
And man, I'm so thankful.
So I think with this next 4 games, we go 4-0. And later on, we'll do another video talking about our last triplet of the season, so to speak, our last 4 games of the season, which is all SEC games, and we got 2 road games against LSU and Alabama, 2 home games against Mississippi State and Missouri. After the UAPB game, we do go on a bye, so it's kind of like a double bye. No offense, wife, I love you. So that is a really good time for us to kind of get our players back.
If UAPB come out here and smack the Hogs, this is the first game that Arkansas Razorbacks is playing against an in-state team. We haven't done that before.
In a long time. In a very long time.
So if they come out there and say, hey, we got a chip on our shoulder. Y'all been overlooking us way too long. And come out there, the Hogs better not take them lightly.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, look, these are people too. At the end of the day, they got pride.
Exactly.
They playing for a
team. They practice.
I expect the
Hogs. That ball don't bounce up and down.
I expect the Hogs to handle them very well.
Yeah.
It's just you cannot overlook any.
You can't overlook anybody. I don't believe this coaching staff will not do that.
Yeah.
The old one with Chad Morris,
we're gonna have
we don't have none of it. We will not have it.
This is the state of Alabama football program.
We don't have that anymore. It's Sam Pittman. So we're a proud damn state. We're going to do what we got to do.
That's what he said.
As Arkansas Razorback football team. Yeah. So right now, I feel like before we go into the last 4 games of the season, Arkansas will be 8-0. If we beat Georgia, we beat Ole Miss and Auburn, there's a possibility,
we can run this dog on
that
table.
we might be a number 1 ranked team in the country. We're number 8. Yeah. I feel like if we beat Georgia, who's number 2, we're going to be in the top 5.
We're going to be 2 or 3.
I think we'll be 2 or 3.
Yeah,
we beat Ole Miss. If they still ranked, we might go to number 2. I don't know if they'll ever move Arkansas into number 1.
Not if Bama doesn't lose.
Bama doesn't lose.
Bama has to lose in order for that to be
Exactly.
As long as Bama stays undefeated. Well, you know what? Honestly, if we win this game, Bama beats Ole Miss on a last-second drive or something, that might be enough.
Absolutely. So right now, I have us going 8-0 leading into the last 4 games. Sam have us going 7-1. Yeah. This team has been miraculous thanks to Sam Pittman. And I appreciate you all for watching us. I know we should have put out some videos throughout all the ups and downs. We're going to go through everything that we missed. But yeah, we appreciate everything. You're watching Just Sports with Jared Sanders and my brother Sam Sanders. Go Hogs.
Come on, Razorback fans. Let's call those Hogs. Woo!